As you guys know, I'm running for president. I've been running for president for a long time. The last time I ran for president, I talked about this idea for a voting system that uses blockchain. And basically the concept is that, like, when you send a vote, like, you create like an entry in a blockchain, basically. So, like, you would get something like this, like you get a printout like this, like where it says like some information, and then it also, like, it wouldn't have that though, like it wouldn't be like your name, like it would have an ID, because you would have to go and like get an ID when you register to vote. And like when you register to, so like, but like it would print out like your votes and stuff, but it wouldn't print out your votes because it would obfuscate it, like, which means that you wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't be like that readable. It'd be more like this sort of stuff, but it would be in there. And so like initially my plan was like for like each voting center to have its own have its own like blockchain, and then like it would periodically be combined with the rest of the blockchain. But I think that it's better probably like for like certain centers to all participate in the blockchain together. So you cast a vote, and it gives you this information, which will have like the hash of your vote, which is like a cryptographic thing. Like if I put a file in, and I hash it, like it will take the binary and it will give me a series of numbers and letters and stuff, and it's representative of that data. So like that, like it would hash the vote. It would also like connect it to the other hashes. Like it would have information on like the Merkle tree root, and like it would like, and then like what you can do with your vote then, once like you've got once it's like done, like is you can hash through the Merkle tree all the way to the root hash to test that your vote is included in the voting. And so like, you know for a fact that your vote was included. And we also know that like you don't have more than once, because like you can write software to see if like that ID's been used more than once. And like it would also allow us to change things like really quick, because I saw Michigan Supreme Court rules RFK Jr. to stay on the state's presidential ballot. So like he can't get off it, because like the freaking lawmakers have decided we live in the 1960s. This is still the law. We have to make sure that no one can vote. And so like my voting system is really fast. Like in the event that people are using my voting system, which is like a blockchain voting system, you never hear this. So I've been talking about this blockchain inspired voting system where like when you do your vote, like there's a printout of like some data. And that's your receipt, like, but it actually has votes and stuff like that on there. And like, do I think it'd be take very long for people to code it? I think it'd be hard for me, like, because I think you need to do it in C, because you do need to do pointers to the blocks and stuff like that. Like you need to include pointers in there. And so, like, I think that like, if you got the crypto guys together, like if you got a Bitcoin guy that codes like Bitcoin type stuff, like he'd be like, yeah, I'm done. Like I already have like the API written for myself. Like we can do it like today. And so like, it's not very hard to do. Like why are we not doing this? It's because like, it feels like voting has been rigged a little bit. Like they definitely don't want a public ledger vote, like where we can all just go look at the ledger. Don't let the computer guys get a bunch of stuff written like that. Like we'd all get together and go, oh, I'm going to go write my own code. I want to go verify the data. Like I want to make sure the hashes work. Like I want to check the votes. So like if you wanted to run for president and say that your name was John Moorman, like what would you do with those people if you were voting? Like I think you'd have to submit variations of your name. Like you'd say like John Moorman, JOHN, John Moorman, MORMON, MORMAN, MOORMAN, MOREMAN, MOREMON. Like you would like, because like say that you're not on the ballot, and people want to be able to enter your name in. Like you could definitely enter a name in, and it wouldn't be a big deal to add that in, and then you would not have a problem like with allowing candidates to run for president that you don't think they're allowed to. Like, and that's America right now. America's the democracy where no one's allowed to run for president except for like the mafia, like Trump and Kamala Harris. Like it's basically, and Biden's mafia too. Like it's basically like the rules is like only the mafia is allowed to run for office, and like we all have to ask ourselves why. Like why are we okay with this? Like I was saying, like the blockchain voting system would work great for a lot of countries. Like if they're not afraid of free elections, it's basically a way of like getting ink on your finger. Like have you ever seen how in some countries they make you get ink on your finger to make sure you can't vote more than once? Like it's a way of putting ink on your finger. It's a way of making sure the votes aren't changed. It's a way of like any computer program in the world can write code. I can't help it. I have to make another video on my algorithm that I came up with for voting, which like I talked about obfuscating it, and like that means like you can't read certain things. Like you might not be able to read the voting center, like, and you're definitely not going to have a first name and last name there, and you're not going to have an email address. But like what matters is that like when I'm a computer guy, that I can see like what the vote was. Like I can see like that it's included in this block. So like this item will have a hash of that, and it'll have a pointer to the other node, to like I think it'd be a parent node. I don't know what you call it because it's above it. And so like I can't see this image right here, but it would like go from like right here, and then it would go up. You go from right here and it would go up, and like once it's there, like it has access to that node. That node has a hash of the next parent. And so like it can just go from there to there, and then eventually it gets to the root node, and you know that like it is secure in there. And once you add one in front of it, like that is locked in. That vote is unchangeable. Like that vote is stuck there. And I've talked about like different things that can be included in this JSON, which like could include like a hash of a picture they take of you, like which I feel like that would have to be connected to a different system, because like it would be like in the event that we think people are tampering with elections, or like a hash of like your ID. But like can you go backwards and find out what your ID looks like from a hash? No, hashes are one way. So like this right here, it's called string data. It's a bunch of chars, it's a bunch of characters. And like a string is letters or numbers or whatever. Like it's anything, but it's a type of data in computers. And so like each character, like an A or B, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1 through 10, or 1 through 9, or 0 through 9, have a representation in binary. Like what is 1 in binary? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1 is 1. What is 2? I don't want to do it, but it's 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0. Like that's 2. Like, and so like it has a value for each of these. And like when it converts it into a hash, like that value, you can't find out the previous value. But I mean, theoretically, like if you're like, I'm just hashing numbers, you could find out but you'd have to test it to find out what the hash is of that number. But it's a bunch of numbers, so it's not that easy to. I feel like I got off track. Don't make me tell you the binary for 3. But like you kind of get the point. Like, which I feel like I picked the wrong tree structure to show you, because I feel like Merkle trees only have 2 child nodes for each like parent. So like, because I can't even see this right now. There's something on my screen in front of me, so I can't even see the tree structure. That's not what I'm talking about. Oh, geez. I'm talking about like why you'd want to do blockchain. Like, do you have to encrypt this data to make it secure? Well, if we were creating the blockchain, what would happen is like we'd encrypt the data from the data center, and it would send from the data center to like where it's put into the blockchain. Like we're going to encrypt it while it's being transmitted. But like once it's in the block, like you can't change it. Like and like a lot of the time encryption is about like making it so you can't tamper with the data. Like that's probably the best thing about HTTPS or TLS, the TLS algorithm, like it's really hard to tamper with that data, like in transit, because of the way that like there's a relationship connected between your computer and a server through certificates and stuff like that. Like so, but like once it's in there, like if I'm hashing this way, because I have a hash of that, and that one, like if it has a hash to the next one, like and then that has a hash to the next one, like and it gets to the root hash, like you can't change that inside, and that's what it's really about. But like it's also about like I want to like you used to tell me that Kadambi or whatever, the gorilla got like 300 votes after you killed it. After someone killed that gorilla, who killed it? Who killed it? We don't know. After you killed a gorilla, no, the politicians did not kill the gorilla. They know they didn't kill the gorilla. We just made it so that like our voting system is like ridiculously like impossible for anyone who's not like part of the political party. And like like you're like not allowing a lot of people to participate, and it seems like the FBI is not caring about whether or not we have fair votes in America that much. Because the politicians choose the FBI, and who oversees the FBI? The Senate Judiciary Committee. All right, so like all I'm saying is that like you could see a lot of stuff. Like I'm not afraid of like having plain text JSON for a lot of it, but I'm not going to include your name and your email address and stuff like that. Like I need you to have anonymity. Like I need you to not be afraid to like say, well, yeah, I did vote. I have a piece of paper too, but you don't want your friends to know like who you voted for, but you can still show it to them. Like me, I can immediately go, oh, well, let me see how to convert that data into something else. And like everyone will be able to know how to do it, but it doesn't mean that they're going to see your vote. Like if you show it to them, like, because you might not want someone to know, like, but because I can make it hard to figure it out. So I just want to beat a dead horse here, where I'm still talking about this Merkle tree structure, where we're putting votes into a Merkle tree, a blockchain, and we're chaining it together with this cryptographic algorithm called hashing. And which one would we use? I really don't think it matters that much. There are multiple, but like MD5 is probably slower, and SHA, I don't know. Like there are a lot. People are still creating new hashing algorithms, which they're one-way algorithms. Like you can't find the previous block. But like if in the event that someone comes in here and hacks my server and tries to change this node or one of these nodes up here, and they change it, like what does that mean for everyone's votes? They can't authenticate, because like I cast my vote and like I take a hash of that one, and because I've got to go all the way to the root hash to make sure that like the Merkle tree is okay. And so like I take a hash of that and then I traverse to that. It worked. And then that one takes a hash of that and it's not the same. Like what happens there? We can't get to the root hash, right? Or like we know that like there's a problem there. And so like it's like nothing works if like if you change it. And so like this is something that like really could be done like today. Like if get me with a couple crypto guys, like we're done today. or give us a week and we can do that. And then like get me with like 3 other like developers that are like full stack developers, and like we can do like a website type thing. But I do think like maybe touchscreens are kind of the way to go, because there's nothing you can do on that screen. Like it seems pretty unhackable. There's like one input, because like once you're accepting like input, like string input, like once you're accepting like the last name Moorman, Moorman, when I'm running for president, like you have to worry about someone like trying to do like SQL attacks and stuff like that. But like and do whatever like through that input field. But that's why you like clean the data. Like you make sure that the data meets your requirements when it's put in, which is like a very common thing that websites do all the time. Like a lot of websites won't let you use like the ampersand character. Like I've seen it like where they're afraid of getting hacked, so they won't let you use and. Yeah, I think that this would change the world, like if we allowed people to have access to the software. So I've been talking about blockchain for the voting system and why like you can't change the vote, and like how we can have a public like JSON file, which the text kind of looks like this. This is JSON. JSON's just string data, and like and people can hash all the way through. And so like when did I invent this concept? It's been a process. Like when I say I can do it in a week, it's because like I've spent years thinking about it after I invented it. I was in grad school. I like got a grant from the Department of Homeland Security, and I was writing software to do investigations of computers for memory forensics. And then the NSA recruited me to work for them, and they wanted me to write a new version of Linux to do Android cell phone forensics. And I didn't want to do it. And so I was obsessed with robot security and like with like power plants and water treatment facility security. And so I invented I was studying blockchain a lot as a way of securing data, as a way of like protecting safety data, like because like computers have to like tell you safety information, and based on the safety information, like it makes decisions. Like if you've heard of Stuxnet, like what happened is they were lying to the computer about what was happening, and then they caused the centrifuges to like overheat, and so it was a computer attack on a nuclear weapons facility or like a nuclear enrichment facility. Like, is it pretty hard to attack systems like that? Like, I don't think like anyone could attack an American nuclear power plant based on like what nuclear power plant people have told me about like the way their systems are set up. But they do have safety information, but that's the safety information that's cut off from the general network. But like with this, like you're putting a bunch of information together. Like we're saying we're going to print out all our votes. We're going to give you the ability to print out everyone's votes, but like you can't really read it. Like you have to have a computer translating it in order to read it. And so like I can type out my vote and I can hash it at any time. And like I can like take the image I have of my ID and I can hash it. And like I think that you could probably take a picture when you go there. Like you just take a picture and then they hash that and that's in there, and then they hash your ID also. And so like we can, and then that information is stored on a separate server. That's not stored on this server. And so like when I invented this, I was working for the NSA sort of, and so like they do know this stuff. Like they know I invented this. Like I guarantee you, like the government has access to voting software like this. It's not very hard to do that voting software from like Microsoft Edge or from Google Chrome. Like that's pretty easy code for most of us, and I think that's still pretty hard to hack.